In a magical forest filled with wonder and excitement, there was an academy where young dragons learned all about being dragons. Now this particular year was very special because it was time for the Great Dragon Tournament, where young dragons from all over the kingdom would come and show off their skills in front of the entire royal court. They'd compete in challenges that tested their courage, their kindness, and even their creativity. And this year, one dragon in particular had been chosen to represent his class at the tournament. His name was Zog, and he was a little nervous. Now, you may have heard his story before. Zog desperately wanted to win a medal at the Grand Dragon Tournament. But no matter how hard he tried, things always seemed to go wrong. His fire sputtered, his wings bumped into other dragons, and he ended up covered in egg on more than one occasion. But this time, things were going to be different. You see, ever since meeting the beautiful Princess Pearl, who came to the academy to learn about dragons, Zog had discovered a new confidence inside of him. Together, they trained day and night, determined to make this year's tournament their best yet. The day of the tournament finally arrived, and with a big smile on his face, Zog took off towards the distant mountains where the competitions would take place. Once there, he saw many dragons from his class waiting excitedly to begin the first challenge. "Welcome, young dragons," boomed a loud voice. All the dragons turned their heads to see an enormous mountain dragon with shimmering gold scales sitting on a nearby peak. "I am the Grand Master of the Dragon Academy, and these are the 3 tasks that you must complete if you wish to become a Dragon Knight." He gestured with his tail towards 3 large pillars of stone behind him, each bearing a magical symbol. The first pillar glowed with a bright orange light, and the Grand Master continued, "You must solve the riddle of the eternal flame. Only those who can decipher its fiery message will pass this trial." With that, the dragons took off one by one to face the burning brazier. But as soon as they got close, the flames grew larger and roared with a mighty wind, forcing them to turn back. One by one, all the dragons, except for Zog, failed to solve the riddle. He took a deep breath, trying to calm his nerves as he flew towards the pillar. Thinking back to all the times he and Pearl had practiced breathing fire together, he felt a surge of confidence. As he approached the flames, he remembered what she had taught him about controlling his fire. Closing his eyes, he focused all his energy and exhaled a steady stream of hot air. Suddenly, the flames parted and revealed a secret message. It read, "Do not be afraid of the darkness, for it is within the shadows that true courage shines." After reading this inspiring message out loud, Zog felt a warmth spread through his chest. He had passed the first test. He joined the other dragons who had also solved the riddle, and together they prepared themselves for the next challenge. This time, the pillar shimmered with a beautiful turquoise color. "Next, you must navigate the path of the sky racers," boomed the Grand Master. "Only those who reach the finish line without touching the clouds will pass this trial." With that, all the dragons lined up at the starting point high above the mountains. When it was Zog's turn, he took off into the sky, racing through a path of floating crystal rings. Each ring pulsed with magical energy, guiding the dragons higher and higher above the mountains. But the higher they went, the more difficult it became to stay on course. Fluffy white clouds blocked the view of the rings and threatened to slow the racers down. Just when Zog thought he might crash into one, Pearl suddenly appeared beside him. She had snuck into the tournament disguised as a healer, worried that Zog might need her help. Seeing her, Zog felt a renewed burst of energy. Remembering everything they had practiced, he dodged between the clouds and steered himself back onto the correct path. Just as he crossed the finish line, the disguise slipped off Pearl, and she was nearly spotted by one of the judges. But luckily, they assumed she was just a member of the royal court who had flown in late. With a wink at Pearl, Zog knew he had passed the second test. The remaining dragons had struggled greatly with the sky race, but thanks to Pearl's help, Zog had managed to finish with flying colors. For the third and final challenge, the pillar blazed with a brilliant emerald green light. "Finally, you must prove your bravery and kindness," announced the Grand Master. "Warm the frozen river and free the trapped animals. Only those who complete this task will be considered heroes of heart." With that, the dragons flew to a nearby river where magical ice had trapped several baby animals. But as they approached, they saw that the river was so frozen solid that no amount of fire could possibly melt it. Feeling overwhelmed, most of the dragons panicked and flew away, leaving only Zog and 2 others to try. But then one of the dragons cried out in fear, "Look! The ice is cracking, and we're gonna get trapped forever." As the ice threatened to consume them, Zog and his friend huddled together and took a deep breath, remembering the Grand Master's words. They knew that they needed to work together if they wanted to pass this test. Focusing all their energy, they breathed fire at the center of the ice until it cracked open. Then they helped each other escape before the whole thing collapsed. Together, they had saved the animals and passed the final test. One by one, the dragons who had completed all 3 challenges landed before the Grand Master. "You have shown great courage, skill, and kindness," he boomed. "For this, you shall receive the honor of becoming Dragon Knights." As each dragon was presented with their medal, the crowd cheered with delight. But then the Grand Master turned to Zog. "And as for you," he said, holding out the last medal, "you have shown exceptional bravery and kindness. Your actions have saved not only the animals in the river, but also your friends who would have been trapped with them. For this, you shall receive the highest honor a dragon can achieve." Zog gasped in surprise. Was he really getting the grand prize? But then he remembered what Pearl had told him during their training. "It's not about the trophy, Zog. It's about helping others and believing in yourself." Taking the medal, he realized that she was right. He hadn't done it for the fame or the glory, but because he genuinely wanted to help. As he flew back to the academy with Pearl, he knew that no matter what happened next, he was a hero in his own eyes. That night, during a celebratory feast, Zog noticed that the other dragons didn't seem upset that he had won. In fact, they congratulated him for his heroic actions. From that moment on, Zog realized that being a hero wasn't about winning a trophy or getting the most points. It was about helping others and believing in yourself. And with that newfound wisdom, he knew that he was ready for any adventure that came his way. From that day forward, Zog continued to train hard and hone his skills, always remembering the importance of courage, kindness, and belief in oneself. With Pearl by his side, he faced many more challenges and adventures, proving himself to be a true hero of heart. And so, the tale of Zog, the brave and compassionate dragon who won the admiration of his peers and the respect of his teachers, was passed down through the ages, inspiring young dragons to be their best selves and to always strive to help those in need. The end.